Welcome to Rise and Restore, the place where stories of struggle turn into stories of strength. Today, we're diving into one of the most inspiring journeys in history. The man who was fired, broke and rejected, yet built an empire of dreams. This is the untold story of Walt Disney. In 1919, a young man named Walt Disney worked at the Kansas City Star newspaper. He loved to draw. He filled every page with imagination and heart. But one day, his editor called him in and said the words that would haunt him for years. "Walt, you're fired. You lack imagination." Those words cut deep. The irony? They fired the man who would one day create the most imaginative world on Earth. But Walt didn't argue. He picked up his drawings, walked out, and whispered to himself, "They'll see my imagination one day." Walt started his first company, Laugh-O-Gram Studios, a tiny animation studio with a few friends, a few pencils, and a massive dream. They created short cartoons for local theaters. The ideas were good, but the money wasn't. Soon, the company went broke. He slept in his office. He sold his camera just to eat. Most people would have quit right there, but not Walt. He said, "Every failure teaches me something new." So, with just $40 in his pocket and a suitcase full of drawings, Walt boarded a one-way train to Hollywood, chasing a dream no one else could see. Los Angeles, 1923. Walt and his brother Roy started again from zero. No office, no investors, just a garage, a borrowed camera, and belief. They began working on a short film called Alice's Wonderland, a bold mix of live action and animation. Every studio said no. Every producer turned them down. Too risky, too strange, too expensive. But Walt didn't stop. He said, "If no one will open the door, I'll build my own studio." So he did. Then came the idea that changed everything. A cheerful little mouse with round ears and endless charm. At first, Walt called him Mortimer. His wife smiled and said, "Why not Mickey?" And just like that, Mickey Mouse was born. In 1928, Steamboat Willie hit the big screen. The first cartoon with synchronized sound. Audiences were amazed. They laughed, they cheered, they fell in love with Mickey. Overnight, Walt Disney became the face of a new era in animation. But success didn't mean peace. He faced lawsuits, betrayals, and partners who tried to steal his ideas. And yet, every setback made him dream bigger. When others saw obstacles, Walt saw opportunity. In the 1950s, he came up with his boldest dream yet. A park where families could walk into his stories. A place where imagination became reality. He called it Disneyland. Everyone laughed. Investors said, "Walt, you've lost it. No one will come." Banks turned him down over 300 times. But Walt didn't give up. He mortgaged his home, sold assets, and kept building his dream. Then, in 1955, Disneyland finally opened. Opening day was chaotic. Long lines, heat, plumbing failures. But still, thousands of families came. Children laughed, parents smiled, and Walt stood on Main Street with tears in his eyes. He had done it. He had turned rejection into reality. That day, Walt proved the world wrong. He showed that imagination is not a luxury, it's power. Even after his death in 1966, Walt's legacy kept growing. Disneyland became Disney World. Cartoons became universes. And one man's imagination became a global symbol of hope, courage, and creativity. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. He went bankrupt. He was rejected hundreds of times. But he never stopped dreaming. He once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And that's the truth behind success. It's not talent alone. It's courage. It's faith. It's refusing to quit when the world tells you no. So remember this. You might be broke. You might be rejected, but you are never finished. As long as you keep imagining. Because sometimes, the ones who are fired, broke, and rejected are the ones who rise and restore the world with their dreams. Thank you for watching Rise and Restore. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Because your story, just like Walt's, is still being written.